Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS, FANS. Let's get to the news. So the NFL rumor mill is buzzing with some serious talk about a blockbuster potential trade that could send shockwaves through the league, and more specifically, shake up the NFC South in a big way. The name on everyone's lips, Max Crosby, the dominant pass rusher from the Las Vegas Raiders. Now I know what you're thinking. Why is this such a big deal for us Falcons fans? Well, let me break it down and give you all the details, because this isn't just any rumor. It could be a game changer for our defense and our Super Bowl ambitions. First off, the Raiders are languishing at 3-7, and their defense has been struggling mightily, especially on the pass rush. According to reports from Adam Schefter and other insiders, there's some serious chatter about the Raiders potentially trading Crosby, and the Falcons are among the teams linked to making a move. Now I know what you're thinking. Why would Las Vegas want to part ways with Crosby? Well, the Raiders are in a rebuild mode after a tough season and seem to be prioritizing cap space with around $18 million available to revamp their roster, especially on the offensive line. They're also looking ahead to the 2026 draft, where they might want to stockpile assets, and a first-round pick could be part of the deal. What makes Crosby so appealing? Well, for starters, he's not just a pass rusher, he's a game wrecker. In the 2025 season, he's already shown why he's considered one of the elite edge defenders in the league. Over just 10 games, he's compiled 28 solo tackles, 15 assists, and a jaw-dropping 9. 5 sacks for 62 yards. That's nearly a sack per game pace, and he's also forced 4 fumbles and recovered 2 others. His impact is measurable in so many ways: his pressure rate, his ability to generate turnovers, and his consistency in applying relentless pressure on quarterbacks. His career stats are equally impressive: 60 sacks in total with a PFF grade of 88. 0, which puts him among the best at his position. His expected points added per snap, EPA snap, is around 35, and he maintains a win rate of about 25%, which is phenomenal for an edge rusher. Crosby's pressure count, around 45 pressures per season, and run stops, about 20, show how versatile and disruptive he is. Plus, his accolades include All-Pro honors in 2023 and 2024, and his explosiveness forces teams to double-team him roughly 22% of the time. That kind of attention opens up opportunities for other players, and projections for next season estimate him hitting around 15 sacks with minimal injury concerns. Now, for us Falcons fans, this is huge. Adding Crosby to our defensive line would be like adding a wrecking ball, someone who can anchor the pass rush and make life miserable for opposing quarterbacks. Imagine Crosby lining up opposite our current guys, transforming our defense from a decent unit into a true nightmare for offenses. His ability to generate pressure, adding over 200 pressures in his career, would complement our existing players and elevate our entire defense. His sack yardage, run-stop efficiency, and ability to generate YAC, yards after catch, against the run would make him a cornerstone for years to come. But why would the Raiders want to make this move? Well, the main reasons are cap flexibility and a strategic rebuild. With around $18 million in cap space, and with their focus on extending players like Bowers, the Raiders are looking to reset their roster. Their secondary has been weak this season, allowing about 4 interceptions per game, which reflects their overall defensive struggles. Trading Crosby would free up cap space and give them assets to build more thoroughly around their other needs. They're clearly prioritizing a rebuild, and moving Crosby now could maximize his value before age and injuries start to diminish his explosiveness. For the Falcons, the appeal is obvious. We're sitting with roughly $22 million in cap space, and while our defensive line has been somewhat inconsistent, especially after Grady Jarrett's injury and the underwhelming production from players like Floyd, adding Crosby would instantly upgrade our pass rush. Right now, we're averaging around 2.5 sacks per game, which is good but nowhere near elite. If we could bump that up to around 4.0 sacks per game with Crosby in the mix, it would drastically change our defensive profile. Not only would we get more sacks, but turnovers, particularly forced fumbles and recoveries, would increase significantly, boosting our chances of creating game-changing plays. Think about it. A defensive line anchored by Crosby, who's consistently generating pressure combined with our existing talent, could push our defense to new heights. His explosiveness and ability to collapse the pocket would make life easier for our secondary, especially with the challenges we've faced in coverage this season. The Falcons' defense has shown flashes of brilliance, but we need that consistent push to make us a true playoff contender. Crosby's presence would also help lighten the load on our linebackers, freeing them up to focus on run stopping and coverage. And let's not forget the psychological impact. When a team adds a player of Crosby's caliber, it sends a message to the league and to our division rivals. Atlanta is serious about contending. It's not just about patching up a hole here and there. It's about transforming our entire defensive identity. We've seen what a dominant pass rusher can do. Look at the Browns with Garrett or the Ravens with their relentless front seven. Adding Crosby would give us that kind of identity, and in a division where every game counts, that edge can be the difference between making the playoffs and watching from home. Now, talking about the potential impact on the league standings, if the Falcons manage to land Crosby, it could be a catalyst for a serious postseason push. His presence alone could boost our odds of reaching the Super Bowl, especially considering how crucial turnovers and pressure are in playoff scenarios. His ability to generate sacks against top-tier quarterbacks like Mahomes, if we face teams with elite passers, could be what tips the scales in close games. The betting odds already reflect the growing optimism, with Super Bowl futures moving from plus 5,000 to around plus 2,000 if Crosby becomes a Falcon. Of course, there are some hurdles. The Raiders are likely to want a substantial return, possibly a first-round pick in 2026, and they'll want to see how Crosby's health holds up, especially since injuries have impacted his career at times. The Falcons would need to weigh whether giving up that kind of draft capital is worth the immediate upgrade in talent. But if we're serious about making a deep playoff run and competing for the title, securing someone like Crosby could be the missing piece we need to finally break through and establish ourselves as a powerhouse in the NFC. Looking at the bigger picture, this move wouldn't just be about one player. It's about setting a tone for the franchise, showing our fans and the league that the Falcons are ready to contend now. With Crosby anchoring our pass rush, our defense would be a force to be reckoned with, and our offense, led by Desmond Ridder, would have a much easier time controlling games. The combination of a solid run game and a fierce pass rush often leads to sustained success, and Crosby could be the catalyst that helps us return to the playoffs and beyond. So as we keep an eye on this developing story, it's important to remember that NFL trades are complex and often unpredictable. But the potential of Crosby wearing the Falcons' colors isn't just speculation anymore. It's a real possibility that could reshape our entire season. The Falcons have been building steadily, drafting well, and trying to fill key needs. But sometimes, a bold move like this is what takes a team from good to great. We've seen in recent years how a single impactful player can turn the tide. Think of the Browns with Garrett or the Ravens with their relentless front. Adding Crosby could give us that same edge, that same unstoppable force that could carry us deep into the playoffs and maybe to the ultimate goal, the Super Bowl. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Atlanta Falcons news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Looking ahead, the Falcons are definitely in a position where making bold moves makes sense. We've got the cap space, the draft capital, and the motivation to push for that championship. If the Crosby rumors turn into reality, it could be one of the most exciting offseason stories for us Falcons fans in recent memory. Imagine the energy around Mercedes-Benz Stadium when Crosby steps onto the field in red and black, ready to wreak havoc. That kind of upgrade would also send a message to our division rivals. Atlanta is back, and we're here to compete at the highest level. And let's not forget, this kind of move would energize our entire fan base. We've been waiting for a statement move, a sign that the Falcons are serious about contending again. Crosby's addition would do exactly that. It would ignite hope, passion, and belief that we're building something special, a team that can not only make the playoffs but go all the way. This is the kind of move that can define an era, and I believe that if we're able to pull it off, we'll be talking about it for years to come. So, Falcons fans, keep your eyes peeled. The offseason is just heating up, and the possibility of Crosby donning the Falcons' jersey is becoming more real by the day. We know how much this fan base loves a good story, and this could be one of the biggest chapters in our recent history. Imagine the roar of the crowd when Crosby makes his debut at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and the defensive line that's been a question mark suddenly morphs into one of the league's most feared units. That's the kind of future we're looking at, and I, for one, am excited to see how this story unfolds. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Atlanta Falcons. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news.